Okay, she's alive. She's not frozen. The reason why I'm doing this video is Irene and Ian have this beautiful service called Care Calling Now. So Irene, why don't you take over and just tell us what Care Calling Now is and the reason why we both feel that this is a good time for us to share what it is that you're doing here.
Okay, well, Care Calling Now is basically a daily check-in service for, a parent or a grandparent that lives at home alone. And I just feel that at the moment with all this coronavirus drama that's going on, and as well as the social isolation and all that sort of stuff, all these new buzzwords, that it's more relevant now than ever that we check in on these vulnerable people that are living alone in their own homes. And we can never underestimate the value of a phone call to check in with these guys. You know, they're feeling isolated. They're probably frightened because I don't know whether as a family you've had a chat to your parent or grandparent explaining to them, because there's so much news and there's so much information overload. I suspect some of them are just turning the TV off because they just don't even want to know about it. So, have you had a conversation with your parent or your grandparent and sort of tried to
so coming back to your service, so it's a daily, tell us exactly how it works.
All right, so basically what happens, say it was your mum, Trevor, what we would do, we would call her at the same time every day, which we've had a conversation with her. Some people want it early in the morning, some people want it at lunchtime while they're sitting down eating their lunch, some people want it late at night before they go to bed. So it's tailor-made to fit in with whatever their schedule is, such as a schedule is for these guys.
Do you call them manually or is it an automated service?
It's an automated service. So all they have to do is pick up the phone when it rings and push the number 1, because we need to have that human interaction, because otherwise, if they don't answer it and the answering machine picks it up, then they could still be lying on the floor and the service doesn't realise. So that's why we introduced the pushing the number 1. If they answer but don't push the number 1, then it's considered a not confirmed call. So the system will then recall them again about 5 minutes later, at which time, say they pushed the number 4 because they've got fat fingers or something, it gives them another opportunity to push the right number.
Okay, so God forbid they don't answer the phone at all.
Yeah.
What happens?
Then there's a third attempt, another 5 minutes, and if they don't answer any of those calls, then what happens is when we enroll you and your parent or grandparent, we collect at least one contact number. Generally that's you, in this case Trevor, and we would contact you and say, hey Trevor, your mum hasn't answered any of the calls, you need to do something. And as I mentioned, at the time of enrolment, we would have had a conversation to you to say, have some sort of plan in place that if you do get this call, do you ring a neighbour? Do you contact the police? Do you run over? Do you drop everything and pop over and see what's happening?
Okay, so you put all that in place obviously before it's all set up.
Yes.
And tell me what's the cost for someone? Oh no, firstly, who are the people that you find are people that set this up? Is it daughters, sons, grandkids, adult grandkids, daughters, sons? Who's the general person that will engage your services?
Well, we've found mostly it's the adult children. Primarily it's the daughters. It can be at the instigation of the son, but it's usually the daughter that gets on the phone and calls us. To a lesser extent, grandchildren. If they're older grandparents, it's usually the 50 to 65 sort of age range, maybe even creeping into the late 40s, that sort of area. And they're people, as you said, they're sons and daughters, and they're concerned, and basically it just gives them peace of mind, because we all know they get busy.
And everything with going on at the moment too.
Yeah.
Okay, and what's the cost for this, for someone to set this service up?
Well, it's $30 a month, so that's less than $1 a day. That's it. $7 a week, 2 cups of coffee.
Wow.
That's all you're sacrificing. Yeah.
Well, we'd hope that our loved ones would be worth a couple of cups of coffee, right?
We would hope so, yes.
Yeah. Okay. So I know I'm moving through on this really quickly. We just want to honour obviously everyone's time and also yours. Thank you, Irene. Okay. So what I've also got here, which I don't think I will do, I'll just put it in the post, is they can contact you through your Facebook page on Care Calling Now or Irene Manson. I'll put all your details below, and then I imagine what they'll call you. You'll get a message or you'll answer the call and you'll get back to them straight away. You can talk through how it works, and with everything considered, get it set up pretty simply and make sure that our loved ones are safe and getting daily calls.
Yep. And it's pretty much customized to what your mum, dad, grandma, grandpa wants, what fits in with them. You know, we don't have a rigid schedule that it's got to be between this time or that time.
Yeah, okay, you've got flexibility.
Yeah, and we can get it up running, you know, within sort of 24 hours is the longest it will take. So, yep.
Yeah, lovely. And such a good service too. And I think this is very timely for what's going on in the world. And I just thought, thank you, anyone watching this, and thank you, Irene, and to Ian for this good service that you guys are offering. And let's take care of each other and help each other in these times. And thanks, Irene. I appreciate your time.
Thank you, Trevor, for the opportunity to share it with your folk.